All right, the biggest fight of the year, potentially, right? I mean, there are a few that could happen. Usyk Fury, I think, is going to do a few. Usyk's going to do good numbers. Any AJ fight will do good numbers. Canelo, I guess, if it is Bivol Undisputed, will do crazy numbers. But I think potentially the biggest one out there is Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, just because it's two completely different fan bases, two promoters. It's a shame, by the way, that Mayweather's not with Gervonta still.
Yeah.
Because it would have been I think it would have been even bigger to have the Mayweather-Oscar element, with Leonard Ellerby floating around as well, Bernard Hopkins over there, like almost like two teams going against each other. I think it would have blown up. But regardless, if and when this fight gets announced, for me, it's a guarantee to get over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, De La Hoya's been talking about 2.5 million.
Ooh,
and when you hear that number, you kind of think, not really. But then you look at it, you're like, well, they're big in America, but they're big in different demographics. So they're all going to come together. It's not like we're talking about two fighters who are big with the hardcore and the casual. It's not like that. You have the hardcores who would obviously, we love to fight. You have the casual end who would follow more Tank Davis, and he does decent enough numbers on his pay-per-views. And they're against less than stellar opposition, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
So you're taking a known name in Ryan Garcia, who has the massive influence he has on over 1 million, a couple of million followers he has on Instagram.
Yeah, I think like 4 million.
Yeah, something crazy like that. And when he fights, because bear in mind, he's never fought on pay-per-view.
No.
So when he fights, he's doing crazy numbers regardless.
Yeah.
So you're chucking all these different fan bases in, and I think it has sell written all over it.
Yeah, again, you didn't mention it, but you've got the African-American element as well.
Exactly.
With Tank, and then you've got the Mexican-American with
Yes,
Ryan.
of
So
course.
that's two completely different fan bases there alone.
So you're chucking all that in. That is just a recipe for, like, De La Hoya says 2.5 mil. That could be ambitious, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets close to it.
It's ambitious. Look, I mean, they know about the numbers better than we do. It is ambitious, and like, me and you just before we came on was talking about piracy and whether that will affect it. And you mentioned that they are cutting back now and literally chopping down all those links that we grew up trying to find, right? Those links are no longer there. So people will have to pay for this. But look, aside from the numbers, and again, I think it will do good numbers. I don't know about 2.5, but I think it will do over 1 million, which in today's world, I think is incredible.
It's incredible.
Like, no one hits 1 million. Like, Canelo's numbers is not hitting 1 million anymore. AJ's not hitting 1 million. It's been a while. Tyson Fury, Wild, I think, done 800,000.
Yeah.
So 1 million is massive, massive numbers.
Canelo Triple G won, which I think was the biggest, done just over 1 million.
Yeah.
And that was like, at the time, that was a huge fight.
Yeah, you couldn't get bigger than that. Yeah.
And this fight, I would be amazed if it doesn't do well over what Canelo Triple G did.
Inside, I'm actually smiling and laughing about how good this could be. I'm thinking of the press conference.
Yeah.
I mean, they surely have got to do a city tour press conference. Like, they can't just be one in Vegas.
No.
You've got to go to Atlanta. You've got to go to New York. You could come here.
Yeah.
You honestly could come here.
Yeah.
You could come here and do a press conference.
You could do it all over because it's that type of fight, and it just appeals to so many. On this side of the water, on the other side, it just appeals to just a crazy amount. So look, and here's the thing, it's not like this fight is going to be bad. I think the styles will gel together really well.
Yeah. When you think of how this fight plays out, and look, it's early, right? I mean, as we saw with Yard Beterbiev, people change their minds all the time. When this fight was first spoken about, like seriously spoken about, as in 4 months ago, so not the 4 kings of the division, but when they were spoken about 4 months ago, this could happen, who was your money on?
Money was on Tank.
Okay.
Money was on Tank. For the simple reason, Ryan Garcia, and this is something that I don't like that he's done. He's left Eddie Reynoso and he's trained with Goosen. Ryan Garcia is brilliant with offense. He's brilliant with it, and that's what Goosen specializes in. But what Ryan Garcia isn't particularly good at is defense. He moves back with his head up.
Yeah.
He's open to the southpaw left, which is Tank Davis's best shot, and he's with a trainer who's specialized in offense, which he's already good at. So I don't really like that. I think he needs someone who's going to train him in a bit of defense, learn how to move his head, etc. And for that reason, I was thinking, I think Tank's going to catch him at some point, the way Luke Campbell did. But then I've seen Tank lately, and I've just not been impressed. And I'm starting to think, do you know what? If the Tank Davis who fought Pitbull, who fought
even
Hector
Rolly
Luis
Romero.
Garcia, even like he was getting outboxed by Rolly Romero. I mean, that should not be happening. You say, well, he won it. It's like, it doesn't matter if he won it. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned that the Goosen factor. I actually don't mind it.
Really?
And the reason I don't mind it is because I thought he's learned defense with Reynoso and being in Canelo camp, so I feel like he's got that. He's not. I don't think you lose what you learn just by going to another camp. I feel like you take it, and although the other camp can try and change and morph you, there's always a point where I think you revert to type.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's got that defense there, and I think it will be a lot more switched on because it is against Tank. But he's now learned that good offense, that hand speed, and how to use it under Goosen. So I don't mind. I feel like he's got a bit of both. And I don't think he's going to be having this split personality thing. I think he's young enough to kind of learn from both. He's not like a fighter in his mid-30s that's trying to change camp. I think that's when it gets a bit difficult. And I'm with you about Tank. Like, I still think Tank knocks him out. Tank's just got... You feel like he's just going to... A bit like the Bertabia thing. You feel like it's inevitable that he's going to get to you.
Exactly.
But I think this is a guy that I remember watching him early... And I saw a boxing ability. Let's not forget, he's got a good amateur record, over 200 fights, I think it was, or 150 fights. We don't see that anymore with him. We just see a guy now that's just big punch happy. And I'm like, come on, Tank, man, show your boxing ability that got you to where you were getting to the top of the game. He's
really, like, his last few performances, they've left a lot to be desired. It's fair to say the Tank who fought Pedraza, that seems a world away. That seems a world away. If he turns up, he wins this fight. It's end off.
How good is that win, by the way? Like, you think of how good a win that is now, especially when you watch Pedraza Loma.
Yeah.
And Loma, I know Loma had shoulder problems, but took Loma 11 to... Did Loma get him out of there?
No, he didn't.
Did it hurt him in the 11? It went to points.
It went to points.
Look what thing he did to him.
Pedraza picked up another world title.
There you go. So I think that win... I've said to a lot of people, I know people say Leo Santa Cruz, but I say that Pedraza win then was his best win. That's a really good win.
He was so young as well. He was only about 21, 22 at that point. We forget now he's 28.
How crazy is that?
I mean, he seems like
Tank
he's been around
is
28.
For years. Like when someone said that, I was like, what? I remember a documentary or a little piece that someone did about the best fighters under 23. Tank was there, and I'm like, that could not have been 5 years ago. What's happened?
Time's
like, how have we not seen him in yet with someone else of his era?
It's crazy. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz is probably his best win.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Leo Santa Cruz. That's an over-the-hill Santa Cruz fighting at the wrong weight.
Yeah.
Who was still winning the fight.
Yeah, until he got iced. And he did get completely iced.
That uppercut was a peach.
De La Hoya did a piece today saying he's 100% confident the fight's going to happen. And I still think there's hurdles that need to be sort of crossed over or jumped over, if you like. I mean, biggest one I think is the broadcaster.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a split pay-per-view? This can't be a case of a 2-fight deal and, okay, Showtime, you take the first one, DAZN, you take the second one. There's no guarantees of a second fight happening. Look how long it's taken to get the first one over the line. So it almost has to be an old school Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd split pay-per-view.
Yeah, split pay-per-view. Yeah. You get, say, Chris Mannix on Showtime, you get Steve Farhood or someone like that on DAZN, what they used to do. They've done that a few times. And I think that if you've done it like that, DAZN get the first, Showtime get the second. I mean, if the first fight is one-sided in favour of Garcia, who the hell's going to want to watch the second?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem. But look, I think if it is split pay-per-view, everyone wins. Yeah. You put it, and you don't do silly things as well. You put it on at the same price.
Exactly.
And whoever tunes into that. Whoever doesn't, does it. Like, you know what I mean?
Your personal preference.
Yeah. Or there could be, and again, I don't think this will work, where someone gets the US rights, someone gets international rights. I mean, obviously, you all want the US rights, don't get me wrong. You all want the US rights. You all want those rights. But again, this is why I talk about a world tour. So you get interest from all over the world. And then if you do the international rights, you still get some big numbers there. But, I mean, likelihood 1 to 10, 10 being it happens, 1 being it doesn't. Where are you this year?
Oh, I'm up with a 9.
You're not,
I'm pretty... If this fight doesn't happen, I'll be amazed at this point. I know there's been a few little kind of issues at the start of January, but they seem to be ironed out now, and it looks like it's full steam ahead. I love this fight. Yeah. I mean, Ryan Garcia is still so young that he has plenty of time with his hands to get more of these big fights. Yeah. Tank Davis, no big names. He's 28, pushing 30. Yeah, and it has to happen.
I do think now, though, with him saying goodbye to Floyd, I do feel like...
I think that's helped.
Yeah, it's helped big time now. I think the fights will happen. I think Floyd was holding him back a little bit.
100%. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who won a world title at, 22, 23.
Yeah, IBF.
And the first thing they were like was, no Lomachenko. It's like, wait, what?
Do you remember that?
Loma's champion, your champion, unify.
Yeah.
And straight away, they were saying, well, we don't... And it wasn't like, this, that. It was just silly reasons. I'm like, mate, come on.
Yeah, no, it's a big problem. Final question. Obviously, this fight's at 136, but to me, it's a 135 fight, but it's at 136. Is the winner of this... Weird question, considering we do have an undisputed at 135. But is the winner of this the best number, the number one in the lightweight division?
No, you'd have to say Loma versus Haney. You'd have to.
No, okay. But Haney would... no, I agree. But for me, if Loma versus Haney's... Yeah, if that happens... But say... okay, is the winner of this more respected as the number one before Haney? Bear in mind, Haney beat Kambosos.
Yeah.
This is two top guys fighting each other. No disrespect to Kambosos.
No disrespect to George Kambosos. Yeah. Haney picked up all those titles at the one time.
Yes.
Exactly. And no disrespect, but Kambosos, it was a shock when he beat Teofimo Lopez. And we still kind of were like, Devin Haney's probably going to win.
This is the first fight of that era. So, you know, so it was Devin, Teofimo, Ryan and Gervonta, really. That was the four. This is the first fight of one of those four going at each other. Yeah. That's why I say is the winner of this, the number one. But look, Devon's got all the belts, so it's disrespectful. Shakur's there now in that division as well. And Loma's still there. Loma's still around.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere yet. He's my favourite fighter, but I don't know. He's looking old. Looked really old last time out as well. So you're going Gervonta?
I'm going Gervonta still.
Yeah, I'm going Gervonta.
Just slightly. Yeah. I'm not that confident in it, but I'm not as confident as I was. But I'm still going Tank by KO.
I'm going Tank KO as well. Look, let's hope the fight does happen. Oscar De La Hoya has said 100%. I still, as I say, think there's a few hurdles to overcome. But if it does happen, I'm with G-Man here. I think over 1 million pay-per-view buys guaranteed. 2.5 million. I don't know, man. That's Mayweather and Pacquiao territory. I don't think we can get there yet. Do me a favor. Before you go, don't go yet. Stay with me. Go to G-Man's YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Press that subscribe button. Please, it helps him out a lot. And we are a boxing community. If I grow, he grows. We've all got to grow together. See you on the next one.